Hello, this is That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome, welcome. We are here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world. A marshmallow world, if you will.
It's a marshmallow world made for sweethearts.
It is a marshmallow fucking world.
Not Dean Martin.
I gotta tell you,
I wish I was Dean Martin.
when you did a lot of work clearing the snow today.
Yeah,
against all odds and against the wind. What am I,
Bob Seger now?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't like Silver Bullet.
But you did a very good job, and you did a good thing for me and for the little baby. She didn't like the wind either. It was a nightmare out there.
I thought you were going to say she didn't like the job you did.
No, she thought it was a good job. And it's like the last time it snowed, I think about how high it was when we finally plowed a path to the sidewalk and everything. But the height of the snow today is like, it's infuriating, so I think is the right word for it.
You pointed out that this is, off camera, you pointed out this was the third blizzard or snowstorm of this season.
Yeah.
And I remember going out the day after or like during the first one to be like, all right, there's this thing called an electric snow shovel, which I knew nothing about until that day. And I'm like, oh boy, I got to get me one of those. Nobody had a fucking one of them.
Yeah.
And to this day, 2 more storms later, still nowhere in person or even online has a fucking one of them.
And I'm telling you, it's because now is the time they're going to start putting out like their patio furniture and stuff because it's almost March.
You know what they really ought to put out?
What?
The rules.
The rules.
They should have their own bubble with some rules. Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you.
You can leave that one in.
Rule number 1.
Don't sneeze on camera.
That would have spiked. That would have spiked a lot, and we'd probably both be real mad about it.
We'd get thrown out of podcast world.
But we do have 3 rules here in the bubble for the sake of civility. Did you just flick that at your own face?
I can't control gravity. Go on with the rules.
The rules. No judgment, nothing personal. Don't be a dick.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. My hands hurt. Recently, I got my back fixed, which was fine. I mean, not fixed like my back can get fixed, but thanks to the snow, I tweaked something in my hip, and I pinched like my femoral nerve or something like that. And so it made working very difficult, but I made an emergency appointment with my massage therapist who knuckled it out for me so I can walk again, which is a lot of fun.
Oh,
now my hands hurt. We are mere days away from our first Villain Arts show with Love Hard, and that's a lot of fun. And today is currently Monday while we're recording this. And the show starts on Friday. We're leaving on Thursday, which means I had a grand total of a day and a half left to get all of my work done for the show. And I finished it today.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, you're good? Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Sorry, I asked you how you were in a separate take and I lost track of it. How are you?
I feel, after the amount of shoveling I have done today, because the snow is so high, so much higher than the snowblower, which that first storm I went out and I bought a display model snowblower, got a sweet deal on it. It was pretty much the last one there. I'm like, I need to go home with something because my back is going to hate me if I have to shovel.
Yeah.
And today, the snow is so high that there is no getting at it with the snowblower without the batteries dying.
Yeah.
The last storm, I couldn't even make a dent in it because I'd go up and then I'd go down, and then I go up and I go down. And after 20 minutes, I've made it like 1.5 feet.
Yeah. Well, it was all ice.
That's how tall and how thick the fucking shit is.
Yeah.
So today I said,
last time.
I'm going at it with the shovel. And then now that it'll be easier to get with, maybe I can go at it with the snowblower afterwards. But let me tell you, you remember how sore we'd be coming back from the gym?
Mm-hmm.
This is worse.
Oh, I know it.
This is worse.
I know
My
it.
forearms are sore. My middle back is achy.
Yeah. No. And being out there with it all blowing in your face also does not make it any more pleasant to get it done. But you got it done.
I turned with my back to the wind.
Yeah.
So I could take a break. I just stand there, stretch a little bit, put my hand on the shovel, look back at our schmuck neighbors, watching how difficult of a time they were having, and I was just smiling. Let me tell you something. The other people in this building with dogs, okay? We make a path.
Yep.
So we can take our dog out.
Mhm.
But that also, the other neighbors with dogs get to benefit from that. Good for, wonderful.
Yeah.
But the ones down that way that we've been complaining about since they moved in the time that it took me to shovel the entire length of the building,
Yeah.
this asshole barely cleared out his own space.
You do a good job.
And
you
didn't
do
even-
fine work.
And did not even offer to help me.
When I saw him out there with you, I was like, oh, maybe he'll do like he'll bridge the gap between the last two units. Because last time those two end units just shoveled out around so that their dogs had like a patch outside of their own porches, but they piled it up between their units so that in order for us to get past the end of the building with our dog, we had to climb a mountain in order to, and eventually I fell into it because, it can only hold your weight for so long.
Doesn't they will no longer enjoy the benefits of my labor. From now on, I'm just going to start piling it in front of their doors.
You know what we should do is we should have like a gate, and we'll have like a little garage door opener so that you have to, so only we will be able to open the door walk through.
Let's just cement in all of their sliders, like in the middle of the night while they're sleeping,
Yeah.
like a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Like only if you own your unit are you allowed to go out the back door.
Brilliant. Genius.
Oh, that'd be funny. That would be so fucking funny.
Anyway.
Their dogs are real low to the ground too.
Well,
which
they
is stupid.
fucking, let them out off leash all the time, thinking they're not going to go anywhere until they show up in our yard.
Yeah.
I told them next time I see your dog, I'm taking it. Not only them, but the bitch in the other building too.
Well, okay, so this is sort of in the same vein of what I was starting to talk about.
You mean you don't want to get back to Villain Arts?
That is what I want to get back to, but in the same vein.
See, I know you.
I
know you.
You know me. As I was going to say, today while we're recording, this is currently Monday, and this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we will be, with Love Hard Art, we will be at the Villain Arts Maine Tattoo Festival in Portland, Maine. Hooray, hooray for Chef Boyardee. Come one, come all. It's going to be so much fun, and I'm really excited. And I'm even more excited that I am done with all of my work. Two whole days ahead of schedule. Oh, boy.
Ta-da! This
I
is
know.
the imaginary string that I am pulling, for those who can't see, and the balloons that are now coming down from the ceiling.
Confetti on me. Celebrate me.
I gotta go look for that clip from Family Guy now, where Peter pulls the string and he's like, I've been
Yeah.
planning that for 2 years. Wait, where's the clown he was supposed to come down to?
But meanwhile, my hands really hurt. And I've been saying that at the end of the day, and it's nothing. Shut up.
Why, is it copyright infringement? Too bad. Well, now your back's gonna hurt.
My back does hurt.
Because you just pulled landscaping duty.
Your back hurts. Because
Anybody-
you did landscaping duty.
Anybody else's fingers hurt?
You're in my world now, Grandma. But yeah,
So
so
I want an extra large, Grandma. More on that later.
It got me thinking, because I showed you my fingers yesterday when I was done with work. And I have this tendency, I have known for me personally, since I was in, I think, second grade, I have known, as in I've been told, that I hold a pen incorrectly. So when you are taught to hold a pen, at least where I come from, you're taught to hold it against your middle finger, holding it with your index finger. Hold a pen.
You show me what you. Yeah.
So this is what they want you to do. Okay.
We'll put it down on the table so I can see it as if you were writing. I mean, yeah, no, that's not really how I hold it.
I hold it like this. I hold it with my two fingers.
I don't hold it like that either.
What do you hold it, like a caveman?
Yes.
Do
Let
you?
me
How
say
do you
that.
hold it?
Like,
No, see, you do it.
No, like a chopstick. I put it between my
But you
index
hold
and my
it
middle finger.
Between your index
Wait,
and middle
what was
fingers.
the first thing that you did?
Between the index and middle fingers.
I don't think that's what you. Okay, maybe.
But that's not what I do.
Right. Okay.
This is what I was told as a wee lass. This is what I was told is the correct way to hold a pencil. This is a pen, but it stands in for a pencil.
Uh-huh.
I hold it like this.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
And when I hold it like this, you can see the bend in my knuckles.
Well, yeah.
I tend to hold it very aggressively.
Is that the secret to perfect penmanship? You got to hold it like that? resting on your ring finger?
I don't know. I don't have perfect penmanship.
It's nicer than mine.
As I've gotten older, my handwriting has morphed into my mother's.
Yours
everyone sees
and my
it.
mother's handwriting have always been consistent. Mine is a mess.
Thanks.
Give me that thing.
So anyway.
Yeah, no, I hold it like a chopstick.
So I'm going to show for anyone on audio. Sorry,
That's
you can't
so-
see,
that's so
but
fucking
this is
weird.
the result of decades. This is the result of decades of holding a pen, a pencil, a paintbrush, and any other writing instrument really difficult. So you can see that wild callus.
I love that you're not even looking at the camera, that you're looking at the monitor.
Well, yeah, so I can see that it's in
Look your
focus.
audience in the eye.
So you can see right there that wild callus on my ring finger especially.
You know what this reminds me of? Every single like school essay that I ever had to write for a standardized test, where by the third page of like straight handwriting, there's that like that bruised sore spot like right on your middle finger's knuckle,
Yeah.
like foreknuckle. And it's just like, oh man, I need
Yeah.
to put this thing down.
So my finger, I have a permanent callus on the top knuckle of my ring finger.
You CMT people know exactly what I'm talking
And
about.
I have a smaller one, a smaller one in a comparable area on my pinky finger. And these tend to hurt. And my train of thought went wild over the last couple of days, because at the end of the workday for me, my fingers have really hurt. Not just the arthritis, all right? My fingers have really hurt. And first I laugh
I'm never
at
go-
the Happy Gilmore
I'm
joke.
never gonna not think of that.
Yeah, first I laugh at myself for the Happy Gilmore joke, and then I think of you.
Me?
You. I think of
This
you.
Gene Belcher?
That Gene Belcher. I think of you. Not like I always think of you, which I do.
You don't always think of me like that.
I'm thinking of you right now.
Am I? Okay, I am wearing clothes.
Under your bathrobe. But under those clothes.
Listen, I'm
Under
clean.
those clothes. You're naked.
Let me tell you something. I stunk so bad
Well,
after
you
those
should,
rounds
yeah.
I stunk pretty bad after the first round of shoveling. I stunk really bad after the second.
Yeah.
But I took a nice shower. Oh, that shower. Oh. If I were a smaller person, I would have taken a bath.
You would have had probably like a scum at the top of the water.
That's fine.
That's always the roughest. That's
Yeah.
always the roughest reality of taking that bath. But I think of you. I thought of you as my fingers hurt, and I thought of you.
I'm going to be
because
twirling this pen now. Thanks a lot for bringing that up.
you could always put it down.
I can put it down anytime I want. I just not ready to. You were saying.
You're a guitar player.
Sure.
Now you have told me, because I see you play and everything. I see you play.
Yeah, you do.
And there have been moments where you have actually stopped yourself and you have said to me, you know, I don't have calluses anymore.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting that of all of the years and years of guitar playing that you have done, that you have not formed like permanent calluses on your fingers.
Because as human beings, we benefit from regenesis.
But mine is still there.
You also, do painting and drawing, and you work, with a stick-like instrument, more frequently than I practice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm seasoned to the point where I don't need to practice every day, but if I've gone a lengthy amount of time without at least running a few scales, like I'll need to redevelop calluses. And if I'm going straight into playing bass, forget about it. By the time I'm done, my hands are killing me because since the strings are thicker, the neck is wider, like sliding my fingers around guitar strings, like I've been doing that 30 plus years. I'm used to that. Okay. So that's not going to really hurt, but sliding my fingers around bass strings, cause I'm playing bass now more often, like my hands are killing me.
Now, I would think, just in my experience, I would think that once you...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but particularly when I've gone without practicing for a while.
Fair enough. I would think, though, that having calluses on your fingers, right? That having them on your fingers would make it hurt less.
Yes.
Okay. But you can't develop a callus in a day.
Yeah, but I don't really notice the pain from new calluses until
Yeah.
like after it's, like cuz you see me noodle around here, but I I don't practice as extensively as I used to because I still retain plenty of, my habits and my techniques and this and that and the other thing. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't need to develop thick calluses, but
Right.
when I was in Two Fisted Law, we practiced at least once a week. Like I'd go down to even, I mean, especially when Tom lived down the street, like we just go and we just jam to hang out. But I was developing calluses, all the time.
Yeah.
Now I only really practice when the mood strikes me, and with tax collectors, we're only practicing, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm not keeping up with it.
Have you ever played to the point where your fingers bleed?
Yes.
Yeah, you've done that?
I mean, it's not very often, but
Yeah.
it's happened.
Wild.
It's really weird. There have been shows where I've gotten off stage, looked at my knuckles, my like sides of the hand, my cuticles, and be like, when did I cut that? Because I'll see blood and I'll be like, I don't remember being in pain at any point. It's just like at some point in, the set, I must have nicked something, or like there are
you
those
could have
times.
split it.
There are those times at the end of the set when they do the drum finale, like or whatever, and like I'll smack the bass with my fist, just to give it a nice boom. And I'll catch something, and then again we'll get off stage. I'll look at my hand, like, where did that blood come from?
Do you ever feel good about it?
About what?
Playing? About like no, not about playing. Like to see your
blood?
your battle scars, for lack of a better way of calling it.
No,
it doesn't make you feel good.
I'm not in high school anymore. I'm not trying to lure chicks in with battle scars.
Okay.
Like, because there's always that thing you hear about, like, chicks dig scars, like, fucking,
But I mean, like,
it's also not pleasant. It's like, especially when you're waiting for shit to heal.
But I'm not suggesting necessarily that you're trying to lure in women or anything, but like as a point of pride.
Just you.
Just me. That's a good thing.
But
like, what, like it makes me think sometimes, like, when I would work festivals and my body would just be bruised. I would have bruises and cuts all over my legs. Like you take your pants off at the end of the day and you see all of the new bruises you've gotten that day.
Here's something you can relate to.
Okay.
So not so much what you're talking about, but I was the only person I knew growing up who grew my right hand nails out because I would play acoustically or just play in general with my grown nails. Mm-hmm. And I used to let them grow freakishly long because I just have those genes.
Yeah.
And it used to creep a lot of people out.
Yeah.
But that was just a thing I did. It's like, okay, like if I don't have a pick on me, or it's like my nails are just always there.
Yeah.
But, them getting to a point where it's unnecessarily long, if they, snap or break or chip or crack or whatever, that fucking hurts.
Yes, it does.
And I know you know that.
I knew a guy who used to work at Sam Ash who he had his right hand done with acrylics.
Yeah, I never did that.
He went
Sharpie.
And he got regular acrylic manicures so that he could finger pick with them.
Yeah, no, we would just, goofy goth kids in high school coloring up with Sharpies and yeah.
Well, I'm saying to get them long.
And then everybody was just like, "What's with your Coke nail? Jeez."
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's why when my nails would get long and everything, and then they would start to break because I was working so hard and everything, and then I'd end up with like they were all like different lengths and different shapes and stuff, and I'd always have like one or two still long nails. I'd be like, I can't keep these anymore.
Truth be told, I didn't actually like playing with my nail. Like once I had them grown out, like I would play, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah,
I felt like I just didn't get the same result as playing with a regular pick. And I never really liked, like, there's certain things, like you heard me playing Stairway the other day. Yes, Stairway's allowed in this house. But it's like whenever you're like, I'm playing something that requires, you to use your fingers, like I'm really just like grazing the strings. I'm not like really like striking them with my fingertips, especially now, because I feel like as I've gotten older, I've lost all the grip or the texture in my fingertips.
Do you have fingerprints?
I'm sure I still do.
Do you have fingerprints anymore? I mean, they feel normal.
Yeah.
They feel,
tell
normal.
that to my phone when I'm trying to close out apps. That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah. I don't know. Something.
Well, where are you going with this?
Something about. This is going to sound really weird, but I know that anyone who can relate to this will understand exactly what I'm saying. Something about being like feeling the work.
Oh, you mean like
Like,
okay,
like it's like when you're sore after a really good workout. There's something about it that sort of drives...
proud of your progress.
Yeah, it makes you really proud of it. So like when I look at my hand and I see that like my calluses are bright red or, heaven forbid, indented after a day of work, or there have been days like yesterday, I think my fingers were like, I think my hand came out like, I'm not throwing up gang signs or anything, but like my hand was like a claw. And I was like, look at my fingers.
Not so much like the physical, exhaustion or pain or whatever, but like going back to Stairway, for example. I remember being in high school and being like, okay, this is a really long and intricate guitar piece. I'm gonna start it now, and I'm not gonna stop until I've become satisfied with my progress.
Yeah.
And it requires certain sections using multiple fingers. You can't just pick one string at a time. It's like, oh, fuck, like this is something I'm not used to. And I was 16 at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I've got the sheet music. I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to work on it piece by piece. And I did. And then by the end of it, by the time I learned it start to finish, I wasn't able to play it like recording quality, but I was okay. And then again, with time, it got better and better, just like everything else. With practice, it gets better and better. And then I got to a point where I was satisfied with it. So at that point, I was like, okay, now I can look back and be like, that was worth it.
But what about it? Is it the time you put into it?
Yes.
So, okay.
Because around that same time, I did the same thing with Master of Puppets. Because all of my friends, when I was 16, they weren't learning Metallica. They weren't learning Led Zeppelin. They were learning stuff that I wasn't really all that interested in.
Yeah.
So I said, these are two songs that I really like, that I think I want to, try and impress people with. Because we used to play our guitars in the cafeteria hallways all the time. So I'm like, I'm going to learn these, going to school, and this is going to be the next thing I show off.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. It took me 6 months. 6 months to at the age of 16 to nail down those two. And
that's pretty good.
I was really proud of myself when I was done.
I can think back on...
My chops weren't what they are now then.
I can think back on, a lot of the work that I have done, a lot of the pieces that I've completed and things like that. And, the work that I put into it. And I can remember on a few occasions the amount of time that went into it, but more often than not, I remember like, oh God, oh, my fingers were like, I remember I did this dot work piece in 2014. I did this big dot work piece, all single, one dot at a time.
I've seen you do dot work.
And it took a long time, but I have photos of what my hands looked like after I did that.
Didn't it take you like a crazy amount of time to do that one skate deck that you gifted off and they never got back? Like the one with all the band logos?
Yep. Yeah. And that's one of those ones that I remember, like I worked on it like 14 hours a day for like a week. Like I remember that's how long it took me. I don't remember being like, I remember when I used to work, when I lived in New York, and I used to work in my office chair, and I would just be like, have my leg up on the desk and everything, and just be contorting in all different ways. Now I do it, either on the floor or on the bed, typically. But like, I remember, like more often than not that, like, oh, oh, that was the time that I cut myself, or that was the time that, I couldn't open my hand after
working. She cut herself working. She's
No. But it's, I don't really think in terms of, like how long a piece took me to get to be the way I wanted it to be.
See,
like I'm more often than not, I'm reminded of how proud I am of my work based on how much pain I put into it.
I still don't know to this day how you allow yourself to let go of a piece that you spent so many hours on, because it irks me every time I sell something that I've worked on or spent a lot of time with or had for a long time or has sentimental value. We've been together 4 years now. Mm-hmm. I've watched you pour hours and hours and hours into pieces. Even just the rainbow guitar over there.
Yeah.
And we had it at a couple of conventions, and I'm like, we really shouldn't sell this because you worked a long fucking time on this thing.
I did. I put that down for like 2.5 years also.
But
before
still,
I picked it up and finished
I've
it.
watched you sell canvases that you've spent hours on. I've watched you sell skate decks you've spent hours on. It's just like, are you really sure you want to let that go? Like, you really, like, especially not knowing, like, if it's going to be as appreciated as you want it to be.
The stuff that I created in like the beginning, like when I first started doing this regularly, not full-time necessarily, but regularly, it was around 2012 was when I really started doing it. And I was doing like ballpoint pen drawings at that point. And I started dabbling in painting and stuff like that. And when I started doing conventions, and art shows, it was 2015 was when I started doing conventions. And it shocked me when I sold something, because I was like, no one's going to want to buy my stuff. I'm a nobody, and my work is very basic, at least in my opinion, because I look at other artwork and I am blown away by like the magnitude of that work. And not only that, but finding out that like they can produce a work like that in like half the time that it takes me to produce one of these basic little things. And I think about that, and I was just like, oh God, whatever. This is just, if I sell something, I sell something. And then I sold something. And I was like, what the fuck?
See, it's that mentality that kept me out of the creative space, because I'm just like, I know I'm not as talented as certain other people. I know that there's a lot of competition out there. But then I thought it took me a long time, even just playing in bands. It's just like, part of the reason why I don't put a lot of my own stuff out there is because, I don't want the criticism. I don't want the mockery. I know that there's plenty of people out there that can do what I can do and more. But it's taken me time to get comfortable in my own skin to the point where it's like, I don't fucking care. There's an audience out there for my stuff, and the biggest thing that I've taken, and I've told you this a million times, is that just because you don't see something in your own work doesn't mean that somebody else won't, because I guarantee that there's something like this podcast. In the beginning of this podcast, I'm like, who the fuck wants to listen to us talk, let alone in multiple states, multiple countries, like.
And now I wonder if our families even bother to still listen to us.
I know they do. But I had to keep reminding myself in the beginning, it's like, you and I are not the audience for this. We're not. Just like how you and I are not.
I listen to it.
You and I are not the audience for your art, not the audience for my band, because, again, we don't receive things the same way other people do. We don't interpret them in that same manner.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
How?
I don't necessarily agree with that. And you've said it many times that, I'm not necessarily the audience for my work.
I just said it.
Right. And that's not the first time you've said it.
No.
But I don't
Won't be the last either.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because I don't produce things that I don't want to produce. You have offered suggestions, and other people have offered suggestions. You know what you should do.
Well, I don't think anybody really does anything that they don't want to do.
But that's just it. Several people, including you, have said to me, you know what you should do, ...
Well, because even if somebody is pandering, I mean, they're not going to do it unless they really want to, because otherwise they'll think, well, why bother? Like, why?
Not everybody. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who
that pander when they don't want to.
That pander just for the money or just for the success.
But that also doesn't mean what I'm saying is, and you could disagree if you want, but I think that to make the choice to pander, like, you can either pander or you can not pander. But if you're gonna pander, you still have to make that decision to cross that line, to take the first step. Because otherwise, if you're steadfast on not pandering to somebody, whether it's art or music or whatever, you're still making that choice. You'll be like, I don't want to pander. Like the bands that I've been in that don't want to do covers, like, that's their choice. Yeah. I'll play covers, not because other people want to hear covers, but because I like playing covers.
Right.
So, and I like the reaction that other people get from covers that we've played or chose, like whatever. We still have to make that decision to take the step into being like, okay, we're doing this.
Right. There have definitely been moments where I have not hoped, but I've been very okay with the idea that certain pieces that I have created have not sold. Some of the skate decks that are in the hallway right now.
I'm still convinced that the decks you made for last year's convention are selling at this one.
Maybe.
Because of what happened at the last, because the last convention, you sold all the decks from the year before.
If they come home with me, I'm not, for all of the sweat and the tears. There were a few.
I'm gonna scope out a Rich
and
John,
all
and I'm
of
gonna send him your way.
And all of the hand cramps and the back pain and everything that I put into the work that I create is a point of pride with me when I send it off to its forever home. It's like raising a puppy, I guess. Is that, I have done my part, and now it is for someone else to exist with. And I'm okay with letting them go, but I take photos of everything. You've seen, I have photos of every single piece I have created somewhere, whether it's on my phone, my computer, somewhere I have a photo of every single piece I have ever created, even the garbage, because when I sell a piece, and especially back then, before the heavy prevalence of everyone to post everything of their lives on social media and everything, I wouldn't have a fucking idea what happened to something I created. And there are many of my original pieces that have gone out into the world, and who knows what's happening to them.
My buddy Dean was visiting from Alaska this week, and we were talking, like, he knew my family pretty well. And, we mourn the loss of my family members that he knew. And, when talking about it, it's like, oh, there's all this stuff. And when cleaning out the house, it's like, he was right. You can't hold on to everything. No. And as much as I would love to hold on to every guitar, you'd probably love to hold on to every piece. It's like, especially the ones that you've put hours and hours in. It's like,
excuse me.
It's, you're doing this for a reason. You're doing this to give your gift to the world, and your gift is your artistry.
I have so little to give, and that's why when I put in a full day and I'm like, oh god, I got a crick in my neck, oh my hands are so cramped, I need to soak in the tub before I do anything else and everything, or oh, I'm so exhausted and everything. None of it is a complaint. Like, I'm okay with being in pain after putting in the work. It, like I said, it's the same thing, right, with getting a really good workout. Yeah. And you feel that burn, and you're just like, yeah.
Nobody knows what that means.
No, we still haven't explained that.
Yeah, no, I know, because when I'm sitting here at the laptop with, all my gear set up and whatever, like, part of the reason why I procrastinate on getting to recording music is because I know that once I get in the zone, I'm not going to want to get up.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to sit there, and the only time I'm going to want to take a break is to eat, pee, jerk off, whatever. Like, I'm kidding, but, like, I remember times sitting there for 6 hours or more and just not, hell, the first podcast that I did, I did all the editing.
Yeah.
And I would sit down and I would start moving things around and cutting and editing, and 8 hours would pass, and I'd be like, holy shit, where did all that go?
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I'm like, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
This is going to be good. And so I get what you're saying.
I wonder sometimes how I used to put in a crazy day of painting when I was smoking weed all the time.
It's because you didn't feel your aches and pains.
That must be it, honestly. Because I would, when I was in New York, right? It was just me and the dog. Get up. I'd walk the dog. I would come in, I would take my pants off. I would make a cup of coffee. I would bring it back into my bedroom. The dog would be on the bed with me. And the bed was on the floor, so we were grounded the whole time. We'd just get down. I would spark a bowl or spark a bong. We'd put the TV on and just work.
Now, it's been well documented that I don't like marijuana.
Yeah.
But on the rare occasion that I have been high, like, I always feel like every feeling is on a time delay.
Yeah.
Every bit of pain, every bit of euphoria, every laugh, every like whatever is on like a 2 to 5 minute delay.
Okay.
So I'm like, when you say like, oh, like how did I go through hours and hours of painting?
Yeah.
It's like your pain, your soreness must have been on a delay.
Yeah. But it's like the high was on a delay too. Cause it's like there were days, and there have been days, especially in the last like 5 or 6 years, where I've been like, okay, I'm not going to smoke until I'm done with work, because I want to make sure that I am conscious of what I'm doing, because maybe I won't be able to keep my hands straight. Maybe I won't be able to maybe I won't be able to get these lines correct and everything like that. So I'll put it off, and then at the end of the day, I will just zone out and everything. But like there were days when I would smoke before I went to work, and it's like I look at how much effort it takes me now to put in the work that I'm doing. Look at my hand. Like, to put in this amount of work and be like, if I were stoned while I was doing this, I would probably pass out on what I was doing. Like, I would be like, oh, masterpiece.
So you've got me thinking back now, because I know that in a live setting, I've definitely been inebriated on multiple occasions. I'm trying to think back, like, have I ever been inebriated in the studio? Like, in the midst of recording, like, because like I can look at pictures from gigs and be like, oh, yep, was high there, was drunk there, was this, that, and the other thing. But like thinking back to recording sessions, it's like it's not as at the forefront. Like I don't
now
know.
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
No, I have a question for you. Sort of returning to a previous sidebar from this particular conversation. You've said you don't know how I can just let a piece go.
Mm-hmm.
What about songs that you've written for bands you're not in anymore?
It's never easy.
No.
I mean, like, the Strangers are still playing guitar parts that I wrote.
I can't even imagine that. Like, that to me feels almost worse than letting go of a painting.
I mean, like,
because it's like somebody else could be playing.
Well, so Kyle was really upset when I brought Cycle to Tax Collectors.
Yeah.
Because it used to be a Two-Fisted Law song. Now, granted, back then it was in a different tuning. The lyrics were different, and it was towards the end, so we never got around to recording it, and it never like became a staple. It was just something we started playing like within the last 6 months towards the end. And by the time we were ready to start writing new material for Tax Collectors, I brought it to them because I wrote it. It's been documented that I wrote it. Everyone agrees on that. But then Kyle says, no, that's a Two-Fisted Law song. No, it's not.
Did it have the same title?
No. I said, what?
So you really just sort of ripped off your own song for a different band.
I restructured.
Yeah,
it.
It's basically what you did.
I said to him, what's the title? And he couldn't remember. What are the lyrics? He couldn't. Now I can remember the lyrics because I have the original recording.
Yeah.
That I'd have on my phone. How does it go? He couldn't even remember the riff. I couldn't even remember how to play the riff.
And how does he know that it's the same song?
Because to his defense, in his mind, it was something that I brought to that group.
Yeah.
And that we played before we eventually called it quits.
Yeah.
I would counter that though with the fact that between then and the time that Jim passed away, there were a couple of Two-Fisted Law reunions that I was not invited to.
Yeah.
So, fuck you.
But I was commissioned in October to produce a set of skate decks, some paintings on skate decks for the benefit of the United States Patent and Trademark Office. A series of paintings on wood, because apparently I can't say I sell skate decks. I'm not registered to sell skate decks. So these are paintings that just happen to be on wood shaped like skateboards. Anyway, I was commissioned to do a series of paintings. I designed them. I used reference material to get my ideas. I designed them. I laid them out. I created them. I sold them. Ta-da. That same person asked me to produce a series of the same decks for other locations. And you had said to me when I started it, you were like, are you just doing the same designs? And I said, yeah. But the fact of the matter is that none of them are ever going to come out exactly the same because they're all hand done. The line weights are going to be different, they're I think about it, and I think about like when someone gets walks in off the street and gets like a flash tattoo, just gets like, I'm just going to get a rose. And you can stencil that rose on a bunch of different people, but they're not necessarily going to be identical, right? And I think about that when it comes to my work. And I've been looking at these pieces now and the amount of work that I'm putting into them and everything. And it's like every time I do the next one, even if it's the same design, I'm like, they're getting better.
Yeah.
So by the time I get to like the third one of each one of these designs, maybe I won't want to let them go. Maybe we're going to be stuck with them.
Well, I mean, progress is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Like when I think about where I am now musically versus where I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, like my chops were pretty up to speed 10 years ago. 20 years ago, not so much.
Yeah.
But I always felt that being challenged was a good thing, no matter where it was coming from. Like nowadays, I'm looking at people online that I admire and be like, I want to do what they can do. Like I'm going to work towards that. Whereas 10 and 20 years ago, I was playing around people I knew and watching them do things that I couldn't, and that was my motivation. It's like I want to be able to do that, so I'm going to work towarthis. It's just like bowling. Like I remember for years. I don't know why that's funny. But
random.
Anyway, no, because I you know this. When I was younger, always wanted to learn how to spin the ball because I'd watch other people doing it. I'm like, they're always getting strikes. Like I gotta study what their form is.
Yeah.
And over time, I learned to do it. So much so that I managed to bowl a 200 once in my life, and I'm like, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Never happened before or since, but
but you did it that once.
But that's like the challenge to get better has always been my motivation. Yeah. Like I remember distinctly, it was 2007. A lot of my friends were getting into what's known as sweep picking. And that's where on a guitar, you're literally just sweeping the pick back and forth across the strings and you're articulating your fingers in a manner where you're playing an arpeggio. An arpeggio is just, certain notes in a scale. But it's in a method that makes it sound, interesting and different. And there were a lot of my friends that could do it way better than me.
Yeah.
There were other people that could do it way better than them. But just like we were all getting into it at that point and in that year.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I'm like, I'm going to start practicing that because I want to get good at it. Almost 20 years later, I'm still not very good at it, but I never stopped practicing. Theoretically, I should be better at it now, but I've worked on other things.
I think the only thing I miss, it hurt to put in a full day of work back then. It hurts to put in a full day of work now, and all of that makes me glad at the end of the day. Like I did good work, and it doesn't always look like I did a lot of work. Like I'll sit there for 6 to 8 hours and I will work. But because of the level of tiny details that I put into a lot of these things, these itty bitty little baby lines, and the fact that paint has to dry, et cetera, especially the way that I paint, because I paint like I'm drawing with a pencil. I don't have sweeping motions.
Sweep painting? Sweep painting?
Like people who can just, sweep painting.
Like Bob Ross going
wet on wet and everything, yeah. I don't really do that. I paint like I'm drawing with a pencil, which is why my hands are always fucking hurting.
Like you hear people talk
the arthritis
all the time about, we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people. We shouldn't, try to
right.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with healthy competition, at least not in my opinion. But like when I look at Nick and Rhodey, okay, I'm in a band with both of them right now. Mm-hmm. And they can sweep pick very well. I can't sweep pick as well as they do. But I look at them and I'm like, I want to get to that point because they've practiced, they've gotten better. And that's my motivation for continuing to work towards it.
Yeah.
When I look at, say, Kyle, for example, and this isn't a knock against him, but he's never really practiced his instrument as frequently as I have.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of things that I can do that he can't.
Right.
And I'm thinking, when I look at him, I'm so glad I practiced as much as I did. Conversely, though, there are things that I learned from him. Like I didn't know what octave leads were before he showed them to me. And I'm like, that's actually really cool. I'm going to start doing that. So I credit him for that.
there are moments where, you know, I look at my work, and especially when I feel ready to present it to the world, I get nervous every once in a while. Not because I think that somebody else is gonna look at it and be like, nah, or anything. I don't even necessarily worry that someone's gonna quote unquote rip me off. Like, I don't have, I don't have a monopoly on painting a skateboard. We've seen that at several conventions that we've been at.
The guy who's commissioned you're not the only person he's going to.
No, exactly. And
he's getting hand-painted decks in the same motif from multiple artists.
And I'm just sort of like,
well,
that's
you
cool.
you were kind of, you were irked a little bit in the beginning.
No, I was confused. Yeah. I wasn't really irked as much as I was confused.
Like this guy, because we saw it. Yeah.
I wondered for a brief moment, my brain went, did someone rework my stuff?
No.
I was like, what happened here? But it is what it is. There,
you don't see anything wrong with that. Like, he can commission,
absolutely,
whoever he
like
wants,
I'm not gonna be like, no, you have to buy my stuff and only my stuff. Like, that's not me. I'm not Veruca Salt. But like, the one thing that makes me nervous is that I do not have the stamina that I used to have. So a piece that maybe used to take me a week to produce 10 years ago takes me like 2 weeks to do now. And I am always nervous about what happens if I tell someone I can make something, but not as fast as maybe they want it. These new sets of decks that I've been commissioned for, all right, they're getting done, and they're getting done in a good amount of time. And I was honest about the turnaround time for them, not to mention the fact that we are, and my client knows this, that we have been preparing for the convention. Yeah. And in doing so, I do have to produce my own work for that.
He's coming, right?
I know his people are going to be there. I don't know if he's going to be there personally. I'm hoping so, because, he's a cool dude. I
haven't seen you in 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. But I told, he's followed up with me, just wanted to check on the progress. And I've told him, like, some things got delayed, but we're doing it.
I like being able to tell people now, like, she's worldwide. Like,
I am.
Fucking people.
Between the artwork and the podcast,
yeah,
we're everywhere, baby.
but just to be able to go to people, like your friends and relatives, and be like, her pieces are now on display in shops in London. Like London, like if I knew that some like tattoo shop was like playing our record while they're working in London, I'd be like, holy shit, like that's fucking awesome.
It's cool, right? It really is very validating. And especially for, when someone like me who really does wonder sometimes, I can't help it, but I really do wonder sometimes, especially at the end of the day, that's half of the work day that I used to put in when I was a decade younger, and think, my hands are killing me. What happens if I do ever get to a point where I can't do this anymore?
I don't think you have to worry about that.
And I don't.
Because I think you'll find a way. You'll find a way to make it. Like, even if you have, you develop some sort of physical disability, like it's like a person who loses a limb, like you find a way. Or one of your senses, like you'll figure it out. Like I frequently thought to myself, like, what if I were to lose a finger or a hand or something, or what if I become paralyzed to the point where I can't play, traditionally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna have to figure something out, But like, the theme for a lot of this conversation has been, pride in your abilities. Like I've always loved the fact that I can go to like anytime I've been like auditioning for a group or something like that, or if somebody needs me to do like session work or whatever, that I can pick up on it like that. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure like part of the reason what got tax collectors to notice me, other than being friends with, most of their members beforehand, was the fact that we did a double billed show one time. So I was still just in the Strangers, and then they were them, and I think we were opening, and while we're sound checking, I'm waiting for the guys to finish doing what they're doing, and I just start playing one of Tax Collector's songs because I knew it just from hearing it. And I started playing Toast, and then Scott comes over. He's like, "Hey, that's ours," and I'm like, "Well, yeah." but that's always been a thing. Like when right before I joined Two Fisted Law, like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn both of their albums as quickly as possible, so I can go into the first practice and be like, see, I did all this work. And I didn't get up from that until I'm like, okay, I have this all tabbed out and I've got most of it memorized. And so that's the ethic that I approach all of these things with, is because, you know, I mean, I know there's people out there with better trained ears than me.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, I don't have perfect pitch, but I have well enough pitch to know what something is just upon hearing it.
Yeah.
And I can then therefore repeat that back to people.
I have really, you know, I've allowed myself to. I've allowed my. Is the washing machine?
I wonder if that's going to come.
As the washing machine sings, I've allowed myself. I've allowed myself to accept that there are things that I can do. Normally, people would probably say I have to accept that there are things that I can't do. I know that there are things that I can't do. But when I am like inspired to do something new, something I haven't done before, either a technique that I've never done before or a style I'm not typically used to, and everything like that. Like when I started doing the anime style decks, I was like, this is not in my wheelhouse, but I will figure how to fucking do it.
This is not in my millhouse.
But I will figure out how the fuck to do it. And when I did it the one time, I was like, now, like, that's actually one of the coolest things I've ever made.
Because of what you do people like frequently come up to you and say things like, oh my God, you're so good. I wish I could do that, but I can't because I'm not talented like you.
I don't think so.
No, really?
No, I really don't think so.
Because I get that all the time.
I think people, when I think about the compliments that I have gotten on my work from people who are not artists themselves are typically like, oh, that's so cool. Like people who have no desire to know how to do what I do. When I get compliments from other artists, though, whether they believe that they can do it or do it better or whatever, the fact that they are admiring a piece of mine is like, that's aces in my book. That's above and beyond validation to me.
See, like I love like taking short clips of things that I've played or whatever and sending them to friends and posting it and whatever, because to me it's just like, hey, look what I just learned. Like, let's have a laugh about this.
Yeah.
You know, like I just learned Benny Hill last week. So it's like, hey, let me send this to everybody I know
yeah.
who would know what Benny Hill is and be like, because the song just sounds funny. But so many times to this day, I get from friends, coworkers, strangers, whoever, you know, you're so good at what you do. I wish I could do that, but I don't have any musical ability. And the thing that nobody ever wants to hear, but always seems to ring true, is the fact that, you know, you have to practice these things. You have to take the first step.
Yeah.
You have to make the commitment. You know, you don't have to, you know, learn a Mozart sonata or a Beethoven sonata in like a day or anything like that. It's just like, you know, if you really want to achieve some goal, even if it's just learning how to like strum a few chords on a guitar, there has to be a certain level of dedication.
Yes. And
you need to allow, you can't look at it as, oh, it's practicing, it's tough, it's difficult, it's tedious. It's like, no, that's the part you're going to look back, whether it's music, art, anything, you're going to look back on that and think that procedure of getting good was the best time, the best part of it. Like when I think about when I was learning, I think about taking my first real guitar. It's not any of the ones in this house, but I bought it from one of my brothers for $100. And I remember Saturday mornings in high school at the crack of dawn, sitting on the edge of my bed, just strumming like Green Day chords, you know, like unplugged, just getting used to the feel of it. And, you know, that was such a long time ago, but what a much better and simpler time it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think back on, you know, the pieces that I've done that I don't do anymore. You know, I mean, I used to, the only thing that I used to do when I started doing this was I used to, again, take a Bic pen and a piece of paper, and I used to draw teddy bears with tattoos on them. That's what I used to do.
Humble beginnings.
My humble beginnings, yes. And that has evolved into what I do now. And I know that back then, the work that I was putting in was like, it felt like, you know, this is fun. This is cute. Maybe somebody else will think it's cute. I don't think anybody got it, though, is the thing. Because when I started doing it, it was for very personal reasons. And I was like, if I put this out into the world, maybe somebody else can relate to those personal reasons. And that developed and started snowballing into what I have built for myself. So when people partake in that with me, you do the shows with me. People actually buy my work. They display my work. My work is in a bunch of tattoo shops around here. And it's very validating, and it makes it that is what to me makes it worth not just the time, but the pain that goes into doing it. And not just the pain of creating it, but the pain of letting it go. Because now it is there to give somebody else a sense of joy or a sense of feeling and everything that they perch, because the reason why I create art is not necessarily the reason why people buy my art. And that to me is what makes it worth it. It makes it worth all the pain and the time and the headaches and the mood swings and everything that goes into all of the work that I do. Well, no, hopefully I try. But, you know, every time I look at my fingers and I see those damn calluses, I'm just like, that's 30 some odd years.
Like, do you remember like the moment when you said like, this is going to be a major part of my life?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I think I was in when I wanted to make things, when I wanted to be creative, it was art and it was writing. And I was 9 years old. And I was like, I'm going to write the Great American Novel. And then I was like, I'm going to write children's books and I'm going to illustrate them.
I'm doing math in my head.
I am going to, and I won awards. And I won awards for paintings that I, in a million years, would never given an award to, then or now. But, you know, and then as I became an adult, I was like, I want to do things. I think one of the hardest pieces I've ever let go of was when I moved here. The bathroom in my condo in New York, I had hand painted a mural on it. That was hard to let go of. I wish we had just cut out the drywall and taken it with us.
There's still time.
There's still time.
I'm sure it's still there.
No, that was so long ago. But
see,
yeah, no, there are things that make it worth it, and I think that's the only thing that matters.
See, that guitar I was talking about is long gone. I sold it right around the time Henry was born, and have tried hunting it down, and probably will try hunting it down again after this episode is over. But I remember being 7 years old and watching all of my brothers have guitars and play guitar and whatever, and I'm like, ooh, what's that? And it that, you know, just like with so many other things, like watching them do the things they could do was my motivation to be like, I'm gonna do all of that and then more. And then around the time they all kind of stopped playing, I said, well, this is now a major part of my life, because now I don't just play. I play in bands. I record. I play live. I collect. I sell. You know, this is, and again, 30 years later, coming up on 31 now.
31? Yeah, I remember there was a point in my life, like probably between the ages of like 5 and 9, where I was determined to be like a writer because I was showing off, because I had the chops as a 5-year-old writer. And I had the determination because I was like, I want to do this. I love books and I want to do it. And then as I got a little bit older, I was like, it's not about showing off. It's not about being like, look what I can do that other people can't do. It was, this is going to be a major part of my life because it's a part of me. It's ingrained in me. It's the reason why I get like annoyed when people say like books aren't a hobby. That's not a hobby. It's like, yes, it is.
Well, not to them, but you know.
I said, well, fuck them.
They're not the audience. It's a different audience.
And now, you know, I mean, all of those different aspects of my life, you know, painting, drawing, books, tattoos, they're all a part of this little empire I've created.
It's like, getting back to that for a second before we close out, I constantly have to keep reminding myself that every coworker or every like whoever that I've tried to invite to whatever band I was in at the time, it's like, okay, not everybody's into punk, not everybody's into metal. That's the majority of the type of music that I've played. But, you know, like my coworkers, for one, are not the audience for that sort of thing. Yeah. You know, they like hip hop, R&B, rap, rock, you know, classic rock, whatever's on the radio, something like that. Like they're not music aficionados like, you know, my friends and I are. So, and they're also not into the obscure stuff that you wouldn't hear on, you know, FM radio. So again, like there's an audience out there for everything, but you know, you may be looking in the wrong place. Like when we were at the last convention, I'm scrolling through whatever social media and I saw this meme or whatever that said, you know, a steak is this much here and this much here and this much here and then this much here. And it was increasing prices as you went down the line. It's like, you know, just because it costs different prices at different places doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that, you know, you may be in the wrong place in your life. Like you'll be appreciated somewhere else. And that made a lot of sense to me. I've kept it ever since. So, you know, your stuff may not be appreciated here, but it's certainly getting appreciated in London. My stuff may not be appreciated here, but I'm sure it's being appreciated somewhere.
I appreciate your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's conversations like this that really make me like want to just, I wish that it were daylight so that I could
have more time,
so that I can work more. But there's always tomorrow. And on that note, we're going to call it. Thank you.
I've been playing with this pen for far too long.
Thank you. Have you developed a callus?
No, because I haven't written anything.
Thank you out there in podcast.
It's a reoccurring theme in my life.
For tuning in. This was a fun one.
Those tacos are making their way through my intestines.
Oh, Lord. Okay. And we're going to rush this one. Thank you. Find us on social media, DT Andy and JJ Star with 2 R's. We're on Instagram. Find Love Hard Art not only on Instagram, but find us this weekend. I'm so excited. This weekend we'll be at Villain Arts Maine Tattoo Festival in Thompson's Point in Portland, Maine. We will be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right. Sunday, as I pointed out, is our executive producer and our security, Sadie G. Her birthday is on Sunday. She's going to be 15-year-old puppy. All the tips taken in at this show will go to buying her a tremendous birthday gift. Maybe a steak. We'll buy her a steak dinner. And I know that would make you happy. It would make her happy too. I, on the other hand, would be biting my nails the entire time.
I love sharing food with her.
Tax Collectors and Harlots, your show was rescheduled.
Yeah, because of this fucking storm.
Stupid snow.
It's now March 15th. Same bands, same time schedule. So yeah. So
still at Sugar Hollow.
Still at Sugar Hollow. We got a couple other ones coming up after that. We got one April 25th. I think that's at Dead Language in Hartford. We got another one June, I think 6th at Dead Language, and then October something we're booked for Cherry Street. I think that's
we got a ways away before we have to worry about those
That is a
details.
special thing coming up. I think it's some sort of like documentary or like show, like anniversary show for somebody.
Well, then let's hope that the Westchester one isn't that weekend.
My memory is shot, so you know
that's fine.
As we get closer to these things, you'll get informed.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that we're giving you a heads up, but you won't remember that these shows are that far away either.
I heard today that we're going to start tracking, you know, the rest of the songs.
Way to go! So
maybe put out some new tunes this year.
Nice. Well, thank you. And while you're at it, April 17th through the 19th, you can find the fam from Coat of Arms Tattoo at the New England Clam Chowder at the New England Tattoo.
Is that the red
Expo.
or the white?
at Mohegan Sun Casino.
We're gonna have to coordinate that one of these years because we went and they didn't go. Now
Yeah.
they're going and we're not going. And
Well, maybe we'll go next year.
yeah, but are they gonna go?
Depends how they do this year.
Hmm.
So go find them. They're going to be doing tattooing all weekend, including cosmetic tattooing. You can find them on Instagram and DM to see if they have any appointment times. Maybe we'll go kick around for a while. Maybe we'll go take a couple of laps and get my brows redone while we're there or something like that. I know. But yeah. So thank you again, and next week's episode might be a little different because we're gonna be having some travel days. So maybe we'll do one on the road.
I mean, we will be
we'll say.
on the road during our usual recording.
Yeah,
time,
so we may be doing it.
Do it live.
We may be doing it live next week, but stay tuned.
We did one on the road before. We did the wedding episode.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, maybe we'll set up the GoPro in the car and we'll just do a video in the car.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thanks for listening. Stay tuned for the next one, and get ready because in a few weeks we are also going to be having our 100th episode spectacular. Yeah. And the coinciding with the finale of season 2. So I think we're going to do something special for that. So again, tell all your friends, stay tuned, download Podbean and give us a like and a follow because that's how we make more money. And that's a full lid. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. From the three of us at That Talking Podcast, I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
We'll talk to you later.